Hey, Highlevel, it's Daniel here. And this video, what I want to do is introduce a topic that's actually been out for several months now. It's dealing with workflows and workflow errors, how to detect them, and then more importantly, how to let your team know so they can act on that without having to be proactive and be able to get an email from the high level versus you having to go check all the workflows and all of your accounts manually. That's really a big pain. So right now, what I want to do is introduce two different ideas here. The first one is I'm going to show you how Highlevel has workflow errors notifications enabled or what features are available for that. And then second, this is something that's not in Highlevel. This is just something that being in the IT space for so long that it's a good way of setting up support services for your agency. And that's how to be able to create a support user that has a particular email account that goes to all of your team members. So hang in there with me and I'm going to go ahead and show you how all this stuff works. So let's hop in and take a look at the demo account. Okay, so right now what we're going to do is we're going to hop directly into the automations area. Now, the notifications area, this is a demo account, so I have a lot of different stuff that's in here from demos that I've done. But right now, what you want to do is you want to focus on this top link here, Global Workflow Settings. Now, when you click on this, you're going to be able to get these notification settings here. I'm going to blow it up a little bit here. So you want to turn this notification settings on, and when you do that, what's going to happen is at any time a workflow errors, not every action in a workflow. I'm going to go over that in a second. Right now, the workflow error notification is only on phase one with Highlevel, meaning there's only certain things that trigger these email notifications, but I would highly recommend you at least doing this if you're starting to set up flows for your clients, because as phase two and other phases start rolling out, Highlevel is going to start introducing and expanding the notification services, and it's good if you already have it in place versus waiting till then and then implementing it. So it's going to be your call, but I at least want to come and show you how to do it. So right now, what you're going to end up doing is turning on notifications. Now, this already popped in here with my name, but let's just say you turn the notifications on and it automatically goes to all the account admins inside of a particular sub account. So right now, that's one thing, but not necessarily all the admins are going to be your support staff. So right now, what I want to do is show you, if you click on here and select a user, and I'm using my individual user account here, but my account has access, my agency account has access to this sub account. And then because of that, now I show up in this drop-down list for users, and I'm going to go ahead and click save just so I can get that done. Now, right now, I'm going to walk you through this. I don't want to show you in my system because there's some other personal, obviously data that's in this particular area of the agency that I don't want to put on a video. But right now, what you're going to end up doing is you want to create an agency user that has an email address that is a distribution list. Okay. Now, this is, if you're not familiar with what a distribution list is here, this kind of goes back to being like a group email address. Maybe that works better if you ever use Google Groups and things like that. But it's one email address that you can have set up that goes to multiple people or have multiple members in it. Now, this is a great type of an idea to have in Highlevel. If you have not already set this up, this is a fantastic idea. So what you're going to end up doing is creating a user that people can log into, and let's just call it support at whatever your agency name is for your agency domain name here. So there's support at whatever. So you're going to create a new user account with that email address, support at whatever. And you can just put in first name and last name, support staff for whatever. And you basically create a new user account based upon that. Now, whenever you click on that, right now, there's going to be an email that goes out to that email address saying, hey, a new user account's been created. Here's the email. But the good thing about this is that everybody in that distribution group or in that group will get the new email. And more importantly than that, if anybody wanted to log in, they could log in as support at whatever and perform some type of support function. But more importantly here, in this area, once you create a new team member that's called support staff, and this is at the agency level, by the way, you're going to go to the agency level and create a team member. And it doesn't have to be an agency admin. It could just be an agency user, okay, for this one. So if you don't want to give them that kind of permission. So for this particular group, you're going to create the team member that has this group email address. Once you create that, then you can add that group to each one of your client's sub-accounts. When you add it to the client sub-accounts, they will then show up in this list right here as instead of Daniel, that would just be support staff or whatever else you named it. Now, at this particular point, this is where once you get this support staff member put in here and you get this feature turned on, any workflow errors that happen moving forward will automatically email the support staff user, which in turn will email all the support staff members in your group. Whoever's a member of that group will get an email. It's like a big group email saying, hey, workflow error happened on this particular sub account. So that would allow you to be more like proactive, where you're getting an email address and then your staff can address it right away versus having to go in and look for any, like going through workflow logs and things like that, trying to see if there's any errors. So anyway, now that I've got, that's the first part. But the first thing I want to do before we move on here is show you the help document regarding the error notifications for this particular feature. Now, right now, these are the actions that are covered inside of phase one. That's why I want to make sure you understand this. So right now, webhooks, custom webhooks, any of those will trigger this error. Premium actions like Slack, Array, Custom Code, ChatGPT, Google Sheets, which I'm going to give you a demo of that because that's something I can at least demo pretty easily. Facebook, any of the Facebook stuff, and then Instagram. So any of these things that are currently in phase one, if you're using them for whatever reason in your client, if you're connecting to something and you say, hey, I want to sit back and get an error anytime this happens. Now, if you're using webhooks, maybe you're using webhooks to connect to Zapier or Make or something like that to transfer and move information. If that system goes down, then it could really affect what Zapier or Make connects to do on the other side of that transaction. So this is where it becomes very important. So these are the things that are in phase one that are actually currently covered. So enough of that. I want to move on. Here is the basic. This is just a really generic. I just created this for demo purposes, but I've got a customer sheet, a Google sheet that right now I've just had the date and the name. So I went ahead and part of the workflow would just simply go through and say, put in the date and put in the name. Let's go ahead and take a look at this workflow. I'm going to come back into automations here. So I think, let me find this guy here in workflow errors. So again, you see, this is not very heavy. This is okay. Here's a customer sheet. Here's all the customer information regarding it, the customer sheet name, the headers, and I'm just putting in basically today's date and then the contact name, whoever ran through it. So that's all I did. But what I want to show you here is whenever you sit back and you have an error, there is this needs review right here, needs review tab that has nothing in it right now because there's no errors that have been generated yet. So right now what we're going to do is generate an error. So one of the ways to generate an error with a Google Sheet is to delete the sheet. Easy enough, right? So if you currently have a Google Sheet and then all of a sudden maybe you're doing something in your Google Drive and like you accidentally delete it or something like that, and now it's in the trash can and the connection that Highlevel's workflow has to that sheet doesn't go through, then that part will error. And then that will cause a problem and then it should show up there in the needs review. So right now, give me just a second here. Let me come over to my other screen here and do some magic. So now that is gone. I'm going to close this out just to make sure we don't have a problem. So now all I've done is behind the scenes, went through and deleted the Google Sheet that we had here. So now the connection is gone. And what I want to do is come back here and just simply go through and put this through a workflow again. We're just going to give it a quick name. We're going to choose the workflow error was the one I sent it. And we're going to sit back and send this through the workflow again. And once we go through the workflow, what we should start seeing is this particular one actually starts erroring and we're going to sit back and need a review. Okay, so when we go to the workflows, we see now that we're here, we actually see that there's now this needs attention or needs review. So right now what happened is we deleted the Google Sheet, cleared that out, and now the connection that Highlevel had to the Google Sheet is gone. And now that connection errored because you tried to put in a record in that sheet did not exist anymore. So now if we click on this, we're going to see that we get a workflow error and it's just marked as red. So right now we see this is the error that we have, and we can actually come in here and see that this particular thing failed. Now, I just wanted to at least show you that this is what happens. But imagine if you are the agency and your clients are running these type of automations and workflows that you've got set up for them, and you don't want to go back and check these all the time to make sure that all the workflows are good. What you can do is set up this notification so that in case any one of those, these particular errors that you get right here that are currently in phase one, again, phase two and other phases are going to come out. That's going to expand to include more and more of these workflow errors. But imagine now that this happened and now your team gets an email saying, uh-oh, workflow failure here in this sub account. And you can sit back and say, hey, let me sit back and go through and check this to figure out and see what's going on. So again, this is just a good way that Highlevel has put a feature in place that you as the agency owner can use, set, and then put your support staff or your team involved with the description of using that group email address that we talked about earlier, so that anytime a notification happens on any of your workflows, and of course, assuming that particular action is being covered, now in the future, you're going to start getting email addresses. Your support staff will be, and now you'll be prepared as Highlevel begins extending these actions into further more and more actions of workflows. Your support staff will be getting more and more notifications. So hopefully that's at least a good idea if you do use these type of services to be able to get it set up so that your team can be able to monitor it, maintain it, and be again more proactive than reactive. Hey, I hope you liked it. Again, this wasn't a super whiz bang fantastic thing, but it is a good setup if you're an agency and looking to support your clients that have a lot of workflows. This right here would be a good practice to set up on the onboarding. So whenever you configure that particular client and bring them onboarding, configure these settings, add a couple of steps in here where any of the workflows, now you come in here, turn that notification on, and then select your support staff. So I hope you liked it. If you did, click on the like button, leave me a comment, but thanks so much. I appreciate you subscribing to my channel and have a great day. Bye-bye.